is a lost art in the field of selling. It's lost because it's not being done today. Over the years, we've drifted away from this art, and it's part of the qualification sequence. And qualifying is so absolutely critical. Because see, if you don't qualify, you'll either be selling the wrong product or service or to the wrong person you'll be presenting. And so I really would love to cover these steps, and I decided years ago to create an acronym. Now, let me start off by saying I found over the years as I was a manager, watching salespeople have a tendency to try to sell that they wanted. In other words, if they were in the automobile business, they had a special car they liked best, they would almost steer people towards that vehicle. Or in real estate, I found people that would show homes that they wanted to purchase and not really worrying about what the buyer who's paying for it wanted. Or in the financial services field, I've seen examples of people in that sales process try to lean people towards the reasons they got into financial services. So I'm going to really start off by saying, get yourself out of the way when it comes to the selection of what they should say yes to. And we can make that happen by using the qualification sequence that, again, I call the NEADS formula. Now, you'll notice as we cover it, I took the acronym NEADS, but it's not spelled the way you'd spell the word needs, N-E-E-D-S, but I made an acronym of N-E-A-D-S. And each letter triggers one of the steps in this qualification sequence. So let's start off with the N in the word needs. And that N stands for the word now. Now, what does that mean? Now, you must spend more time asking questions to find out what they have now. Now, the reason this is important, average Americans and average American businesses normally don't make drastic changes in their buying habits. Meaning, in other words, you show me what you have now, it'll tell me a lot about what you've done in the past and probably what you'll do in the future. So I want to know what you have now. Then, of course, the E in the NEADS formula stands for the word enjoy. Enjoy. Once I find out what you have now, I want to probe with questions to find out what you enjoy about what you have now. Now, if it were a vehicle, for example, and I were in the automobile business and you drove into our dealership, I would look at the car that you drove in. And let's say you had a 10-year-old vehicle, medium to lower price range. Well, when I watch you drive in with that car, that tells me something about you. Now, let me give you a very radical mistake example. Our dealership in the automobile business just had delivered a red race car. It does 208 miles an hour in 6 seconds. It's $145,000. Now, if this buyer of this middle to lower income car walks into the dealership, if I walked up and said, you know, I saw you coming in and I have an idea this car over here, we just got it and might be good for you. Well, that is totally ridiculous based on what I see you have at this point. Now, is that always true? No, there are small examples where that's not true. For example, let's rewind what I just said to you. I walk up, this person in that $10,000 vehicle or whatever walks in, and I walk up to them and say, hi, you know, I found a car that might be just right for you, but before I tell you about it, I'd like to ask you a little bit about the car that you drove in. Well, suddenly he interrupts me. He says, did you see me on television last night? Well, no, I didn't. Well, I am the one that won the $21 million lottery. Well, this has thrown everything off and has changed everything. because I judged what you had now, what you drove in, but when you just won $21 million, that changes the whole situation.